Hey guys, welcome back to Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. I am here with my mod, Katie.
Hello.
And we are resuming Rise from the Ashes, and I keep forgetting to say this and blah blah blah, but as usual, we are sugar and spice and nothing at all nice. Especially my mod today.
Man, I heard.
My mod deserves a round of applause because she's in a shit ton of pain, like her entire body hurts. She has muscles pulled everywhere, and she still wants to stream, so... Because I deferred to her, no pressure. Because your health is more important. I know. So
we might just not be able, we might have to split it into two parts, that's the only thing.
Okay. That was the original plan, so we'll just see what happens.
Yeah.
So, last time, we proved that Emma could have been the murderer. She fainted. We know who the real big bad is, but it's getting him to cough up. So right now, Emma and Lana think that Emma did it. Apparently, this is what Lana's been trying to conceal the whole time. By the way, she's been acting, so... we'll see. Okay, trial ladder. Let's go.
Sorry, Edgeworth. I didn't mean to get you in trouble.
Don't worry about it. This is my problem, not yours. Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, yes I am. I'll come back later.
Oh, wait, Detective Gumshoe. What is it?
You got a lot of nerve, pal, making a not detective run around all on duty. And to top it off, you call me here? I've seen happier people at funerals.
I take it Lana's having you run errands again.
Let me tell you, this is the last time, pal. Here, she asked me to give this to you if there was a break in today's trial.
Evidence law? Ezra was talking about this just the other day.
That's the cutest fucking cover.
It's P.O.
It's so cute.
It's P.O.
With the little Sherlock Holmes deerstalker and, excuse me, Herlock Sholmes. We are in the Ace Attorney universe. Herlock Sholmes. Deerstalker hat and, pipe. You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule number 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Is that right, Mr. Wright?
It seems so.
You could at least study some evidence law, really. The chief prosecutor also wanted me to give you a message.
A message?
She said, if you're planning to take him on, you're gonna need this book. My impressions aren't good. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Him. Guess I'll need to give this book a thorough read.
Evidence law securely slipped into pocket. Come on. Like Gumshoe. Here we go. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. Doesn't look like that book will do you any good now, though. All that's left now is the chief prosecutor's sentence.
That's where you're wrong, Detective.
Huh? Haven't you figured it out yet? Why I'm still sitting in that prosecutor's seat, despite all these allegations being thrown at me? Mr. Edgeworth! The real trial today hasn't begun yet. What? What else is there left to do? Your credibility's been all but ruined with this forged evidence you were unaware of. Emma Skye found out she unwittingly caused a man's death, and now you're telling me you want to do more? You've got to be kidding me, pal!
You're missing the point, Detective. Lana didn't murder Detective Goodman. She merely stuck a knife into his dead body. That means the real killer is still out there.
What?
And we're going to expose him. No matter what it takes. This case has hurt too many people. Time to bring it to an end.
He says, looking pointedly at Miles. It's getting gayer and gayer as we go. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor. The Inquiry Committee is planning to impose harsh penalties for your actions. Thank you for the news, Your Honor. Yes, well... normally, this is where the prosecution calls forth a witness. But, this isn't easy to say. You see, there is some concern that you, Mr. Edgeworth, may have, struck a bargain. You think I may have manipulated the witnesses? I didn't say that. It's just, you see, everyone has been talking, and... Very well, Your Honor. I have a solution. A solution? That being the case, the prosecution will allow the defense to call forth all further witnesses. What? But there's no precedent for what you're proposing. Undeniably, this is an unusual arrangement, but a very effective one. It would prove that I haven't struck any deals with the witnesses. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you say?
Unbelievable. Edgeworth has found a way to continue the trial. Very well. The defense accepts the prosecution's proposal.
That won't be coming for years yet.
What?
I'm ready, Your Honor. And then it's settled. The defense may now call forth its next witness. Mr. Wright. You do realize this is your last chance. If you call the wrong witness, this trial is as good as over.
The defense calls... The time has finally come to bring out the real murderer.
Okay, well, they have him right there. All right. Come on out, Katie's favorite part.
Damon Gant. The defense calls Damon Gant to the stand.
Damon Gant? What does he have to do with anything?
As the defendant's partner 2 years ago, Mr. Gant has first-hand knowledge of the crime. I feel we should hear what he has to say.
As luck would have it, he should still be in the courthouse. He would also be the least likely to have been manipulated by me in any way. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor? True. All right. Bailiff, please escort Mr. Gant to the stand. Witness, please state your name and occupation.
What is this? Some kind of practical joke? I was just on my way to lunch.
Your name and occupation, sir.
Worthy. Are you really sure you want to do this?
Your name and occupation.
So, you want to play hardball, eh?
Please, Mr. Gant.
Fine. My name's Damon Gant. I'm the acting chief of police. Now then, Chief Gant. The court requires to hear your testimony. Oh, righto. What's with the grim face? First, let's clear up this SL9 incident. Oh, you mean the time when Lana's sister murdered the prosecutor? Personally, I think it's been made pretty clear already. there are still some things unaccounted for. Oh? Like what? Like the role you played in all of this. Son, either you are very brave or very foolish. You are aware, of course, that a police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons?
Gant just pulls out a gun.
Jesus Christ! No!
He's got, like, a boot knife.
No! Damn!
It would be pretty cool for him to have a boot knife, though.
Yeah, it would.
You're like, actually.
I mean, yeah, it would be pretty freaking cool. Sure, take my testimony, for example. I don't have to give it if I don't want to. What? Is that true?
I'm afraid so. The chief of police has the right to refuse to testify. Of course, such an action carries with it certain risks.
Don't worry, I'm not here to hinder your trial.
Freudian slip there. Chief of police.
Maybe I am.
Chief of police.
Who's to say?
Damon
Been
Gant.
swimming lately.
We're on Damon Gant's wild ride, and I want off. I already want off.
Just remember, if this turns out to be a big waste of time, don't say I didn't warn you.
Very well. The witness may now begin his testimony.
As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him on that day. To make a long story short, we slipped up. That power outage didn't help either.
Just let that linger on that sprite there for you for a sec.
I love that sprite.
I know you do.
Boing. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Apparently she had already arranged the crime scene. As you can see, I had nothing to do with forgery.
Is that when Doc was arrested?
Him? He was lying on the floor unconscious. When Emma sent Neil flying, it seems Dark bumped his head.
I see. Everything seems pretty clear-cut.
If the chief of police has the right to refuse to testify, then I better hit him hard and fast.
We can still press him, can't we?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, we can.
We're gonna make a tentative save here. Man, back in my day, we did not have 10 fucking save slots. You had the one, and if you fucked yourself, you fucked yourself.
Back in my day.
Back in my day! I already made my cameo for this, dear.
As I recall, a ceremony was held in the police department that day. Yes, that's right. I guess you could say I'm a workaholic. After winning his award, Neil was all fired up too. That's probably what spooked Dark and made him run away like that.
Was the defendant, Lana Skye, also present in the room?
I don't quite remember. At the very least, she wasn't in there when Dark ran for it. So, the two of you ran immediately after him, right? That's right. But Dark made it to the elevator first. So Neil and I split up. He went upstairs, and I went downstairs. I guess you could say he got lucky.
What's this about a power outage?
Oh, that. The elevator stopped all of a sudden, and I got the shock of my life. Well, probably not as shocked as Neil was to have that when that knife went through his heart, though.
Gant? There's a time and a place, dude. Please read the room. Please, Chief.
He is the room.
Yeah. Would you believe that this guy's only 6'1", by the way? This guy's only 6'1". Gumshoe's like, what, 6 foot?
Yeah.
And oh my god, okay, Chad has kicked the door in.
We are discussing the fact that he is not a freaking giant. He just seems it because he's superimposing.
Only 6'1". Yeah, you're very small, I know. And Katie, I think, is like the least small of like my really close friends. All of my other close friends are small. Well, no, that's a lie. I have a couple of friends that are average, but most of them are very small. I am the tall.
That's not funny.
Oh, thanks, Nick. This short person erasure.
Don't blame me. Blame mod, or not. Don't blame the mod. Blame the streamer over here.
What? I was just talking about how Gumshoe's like supposedly like an inch shorter than him, and somehow Gant seems to take up more of the screen. It's terrifying. That's why I was like, he's only 6'1". Fuck right off. He's like 6'5".
At least he's not Shaq, right?
He's not Lysandra.
Like another character I love.
Lysandra. At least he's not Oz height.
Yeah.
Oz is like what, 8 feet?
I think he's 9 feet because I think it's 3 meters.
Yeah.
So roughly 9 foot.
You are as tall as, or he's as tall as me. So I'm actually an inch. I'm about the same height as Gant. I'm an inch taller. I'm like 6'2". I'm tall. So yeah, I just find it hard to believe that I'm an inch taller than this guy. What would my sprite look like? You could only see like the bottom of my... What would it look like if you put Shaq on the stand?
You could only see from his chin down. Sorry.
Oh my god.
Could you tell us what you saw? It was a shocking sight. Neil and that serial killer were lying in a heap on the floor, all tangled together. Dark was also lying collapsed on the floor? Yes, apparently he hit his head and was knocked out. Next to them were those 2 poor girls. Lana and Emma. Lana was cradling Emma in her arms. Looking back on it now, she must have already known what her sister had done. Hmm? How can you know that? Because of the victim's body. It had already been moved.
So that means... you found the body near Lana's desk.
That's right. I think you said earlier, it was my suit of armor that really stabbed the prosecutor. Yes. Anyway. So you're saying that the forgery had already taken place by the time you arrived at your office? That's exactly what I'm saying. I can understand how Lana must have felt. But moving a body and hiding evidence are inexcusable no matter what the circumstance. Is that really how it went down?
Staring at the witness won't do you any good, Mr. Wright.
Hmm?
He will win a staring contest. Haven't you seen how he stares at all of us?
Yes, it's kinda scary. Pretty frightening. I don't like it.
If you're going to stare at anything, you'd better be off staring at that court record. You'd be better off staring at that court record.
Worthy. Always the smooth talker. But which piece of evidence ties Gant to the forgery? Lana did admit to forging evidence. But that can't be the whole truth. Somehow I gotta link Gant to the incident.
Okay, so we present on the last statement, I remember.
Yes.
If we're tying him to it, it's either the evidence list or the jar.
Yeah, I think you can present either one.
Yeah, half of this list was found in Gant's desk.
You're not on the last statement, though.
Ah, that's... thank you. There we go.
There we go.
Thank you. Or final fragment was found in Chief Gant's safe.
Yeah, it's either one. It's an either or situation.
Okay. I'm gonna go with the more damning.
You claim you had nothing to do with the forgery. I'm afraid that's a claim you cannot back up. Explain yourself. Several pieces of evidence were found in your office. Take this jar, for example.
That's the blue badger you showed us earlier.
A piece of the jar was discovered in your safe. Not only that, but the evidence list I presented earlier.
Ah, yeah, it is in your... very nice.
Was actually found in your desk.
It was found where?
You see, Chief Gant? These articles of evidence uncovered in your office are both concrete proof that you also played a part in the illegal investigation.
Chief Gant, what's the meaning of this?
Oh. Here's a defense attorney who may even rival Worthy. So you admit it then, that you were involved in the forgery. Who, me? Or do you mean you? Me? What? Why would I have anything to do with that? Well, you were the one who snuck into my office when you found this evidence. Prosecutors aren't the only one capable of forging evidence, you know. Defense attorneys can do so too. Isn't that right, Righto?
However, Detective Gumshoe was present during the investigation.
Worthy, my boy. Not even detectives are exempt from the law. Rest assured, Dick will receive his due punishment. What? If Detective Gumshoe's salary drops any farther, he'll end up paying to work.
Nick, don't you remember he got fired yesterday? Yes, well, in light of the detective's presence, please give us your testimony regarding these pieces of evidence found in your office and their relation to the forgery that took place at the crime scene.
I. Kids these days no longer know how to put two and two together.
Oh, the boomer's showing. He's normally hip with the kids, but every once in a while. Bit of boomer slips. He is unironically, hello, fellow kids.
Gant goes, hello, fellow kids, slaps down a skateboard and ollies out.
Ollies the fuck out. Grinds down a rail. He ollies out, then he grinds down a rail.
All without getting injured.
Yep. Totally fine. It's his first time carrying a skateboard. He has it between like 2 fingers.
Let's see. What was it now? A jar fragment and a list? For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. Anyway, you can't prove where these pieces of evidence were discovered.
When?
When? Yes, when these pieces of evidence were discovered.
E is for dyslexia.
It's okay.
If they were found after Dark was convicted, then they're worthless. There's no reason I'd participate in a forgery. Rearranging crime scenes wouldn't help me out in any way.
Mr. Wright.
Yes, Your Honor.
When investigating the crime scene, you should have been more careful to observe protocol.
You do understand that I am the chief of police, right? There will be consequences. Oh. Indeed. I believe I will press charges, so you won't make the same mistake again.
My apologies, Chief, but would you mind waiting until tomorrow for that? Today is, well, you know.
All right, Aji. In return, though...
I know. That place, right?
Huh? What are these guys, telepathic?
No, they're BFFs. It's very sweet.
I'd appreciate it if you'd stop making these ridiculous allegations. Yes, you do have a point. You wouldn't have the guts to do something like that. What?
Did you read chat, or were you just laughing as Gant?
I was doing both. I don't think Udgy's wife would appreciate hearing that.
I don't think Udgy's wife would appreciate that either.
Or his grandkids.
Yeah, oh my god.
I'll have you know, back in the day, I once broke into a cattle ranch and tipped...
Mr. Wright, what are you saying? Wright, leave your Midwesternisms out of this, please.
Sorry. Anyway, you can't prove you didn't carry the evidence, can you?
Is cow tipping like a Midwestern thing?
No, it's an all-over problem.
I was gonna say, is it an all-over thing?
It's an all-over thing.
I hear it a lot in the Midwest.
Well, I mean, we have a shit ton of farms.
Yeah.
And farmland.
We do. That we do.
If you have proof to the contrary, you're going to need it later.
Later? What are you talking about?
What else? I'm talking about when Wright's prints are found. Yes. If they're found inside my safe, they would have... wow, I can't fucking talk.
Take a breath.
They would prove his investigation was legal.
It's okay. If you ever feel bad, just remember I literally could not deliver a line as Jake Marshall without, like, dipping into, like, British. And I just had to read it straight, so I kept having a breakdown, so just don't worry about it. Even thinking about it is making me laugh.
I'm never faced anyone as slimy as this guy.
Oh, Nick, it's only your first year, honey.
What do you mean by that? This is all purely hypothetical, of course. But suppose I did place those items in my safe. Such an act wouldn't necessarily constitute forgery. If concealing evidence found at a crime scene isn't forgery... I'm not through speaking yet, Righto. It all depends on when the evidence was discovered. Are you saying this jar fragment wasn't discovered until wasn't discovered in the initial investigation? It would appear not. After all, it wasn't listed in the evidence list. For all we know, it could have suddenly materialized the day after Darks was sentenced. Oh, and wouldn't that be convenient?
Right. The chief is talking about a possibility. So long as you can't rule that out, your remarks, however clever they may be, will only succeed in wasting time.
Tell me something I don't know.
Well, then do something.
Come now, Righto. Think about it. How can you look me in the eye and say that? Because I'm innocent. Remember? Who was it that murdered Neil?
I'm not sure I care for the word murder here. But in the end, the person responsible for Mr. Marshall's unfortunate demise was Emma Skye.
Well, now do you see? Really, Chief Gant? At the very least, there is one very large benefit you've been reaping for all this time. Oh, I wasn't aware. What is this benefit? That would, of course, be the position you have, Chief of Police.
Oh.
The resolution of the SL9 incident secured your promotion to Chief. I think that in itself is sufficient motive. Oh, that was a good one. Huh? Do you really think I'm that incompetent? What do you mean? Even without that case, I was already in line to become the next chief. The resolution of SL9 merely sped up the inevitable a little. Is that true, Edgeworth?
Yes, he was going to be made chief anyway.
Ah! Be careful when pointing that finger, or you might wind up being the one pointed at.
So that means there's only one possible motivation for you to commit forgery. If you didn't do it for yourself, then you did it for someone else.
Don't be silly, Worthy. You know me better than that. There are only 3 people I look out for. Me, myself, and I. There, it's out in the open now. Udgy, would you mind if I change my testimony a little?
By all means, please do.
I wouldn't be anyone's accomplice if there was nothing in it for me. Nothing in it for you? Sorry, but the only person I care about is yours truly. That girl. Lana's little sister, was it? You think I felt sorry for her? You better think again.
You're right. You don't feel sorry for anyone.
Be tough on crime and tough on people. That's how I was raised.
You seem to be lax enough on yourself, though.
Ho ho ho! That was a good one, Worthy. Had there been something in it for him? Given his selfishness, would he have helped someone out?
Point out an accomplice.
Yeah?
True, you might not help anyone out for their sake. But if it would benefit you, you might decide to assist someone.
Mr. Wright, it appears you're positively determined to portray the chief as a nice man who likes to lend people a hand.
That's not what I mean.
Very well, then. Who is this person you believe Chief Gant may have helped forge evidence? That would be Lana.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say, where's her fucking portrait? There it is. I like that they rearranged it so the sisters are next to each other.
Same.
Because Lana should technically be first on your list. Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye, the defendant.
I believe it's quite obvious in light of the circumstance. Emma Skye fell victim to an unfortunate series of events. Who would want to help her more than her own sister, Lana? Also, and as for you, Chief Gant, who would also want to have a reason to help Lana if she had asked him to. The reason, of course, is self-profit.
Self-profit? What do you mean?
After the SL9 incident was resolved, Lana Skye was appointed to chief prosecutor in the prosecutor's office. The person who arranged this job change was you, Chief Gant.
But how would he profit from all of this? He would be able to use the chief prosecutor as his puppet. Essentially, he would acquire unchecked authority over all investigations. Do you mean to tell me that despite the chief's formidable appearance, he plays with puppets? Oh, wait. You must mean puppet as in someone forced to do his bidding. Never mind.
Admit it, Chief. You assisted Lana Skye in forging evidence. Your motive? To appoint her to chief prosecutor so you could control her. Righto, my boy. You have quite an imagination. Let me ask you something. What? Do you have any proof of this? That I controlled Lana? For example, is Lana testifying that I have done such a thing? Lana... she's keeping quiet to protect Emma. There's no way she'd testify against Gant.
I'm afraid without any proof, this all amounts to nothing more than mere conjecture. Unless that is also what happened in this incident. This incident? Which one would that be? Of course I'm talking about the murder of Detective Bruce Goodman. The chief prosecutor has been acting strangely throughout this entire trial. Almost as if someone has been controlling her.
Worthy, you better watch your tongue. I wouldn't want you to get hurt.
Just what do you mean?
What he means, Your Honor, is that Chief Gant is involved in the murder of Detective Goodman. Not only that, but the chief is now making Lana take the rap to cover up his involvement.
What? Order! I said order! Mr. Wright, you can't be serious.
Huh?
This is an affront to the highest ranking officer in our law enforcement agency. To accuse the chief of police of blackmail and murder? That's impossible.
Your Honor, I was merely reiterating what Mr. Edwards said in easier to understand language.
Oh, so throw me under the bus now, will you?
I'm taking you down with me.
I'm already down, right?
I'm going down with you.
Third inquiry.
I'm going down with you. I'm throwing myself off the cliff.
It's too late, Mr. Wright.
Hmm?
There's no turning back for us now.
Looks like he's the one who's decided to go through with this.
I'm driving the bus.
I figured we were just free-falling, but okay.
Can you prove this, Mr. Wright? That the chief, a high-ranking officer of the law, is involved in this murder?
Good question.
That's the sound of a lawyer bus. Beep, beep, thump, thump. Regardless of his rank or title, Chief Gant is just a man. The question is he a criminal? I believe the evidence will tell. I see. Alright then. Let's see what Mr. Wright's got, and it better be good. Show us this evidence that ties Chief Gant to the murder of Detective Goodman. Bollocks.
I mean, we are still missing a name on that one sheet.
The 7777777777777.
That's like 3. That's like 5 too many 7s, Danny.
I can't read it like you can. I literally have to put my finger up to the screen and be like 77777. I can't do it. This is the ID card list.
Yes. The one the one that shows who entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. There was one ID on the list that we couldn't determine the owner of yesterday. 7777777.
How the fuck do you do that? You're fucking witch doctor, dude.
Sorry, but there's no way you can prove that's my card number. It's your number. Hmm?
That's such a comedic ass moment where Gant's like, there's no way you can prove that's my number. It's your number. Just dead ass. Just fucking dead ass. Yeah, it's your number. What? How do you know that?
The safe in Chief Gant's office requires a code to open.
Nick, just perjure yourself, why don't you?
A 7-digit code.
I meant incriminate, but whatever. 7 digits? You don't mean...
I'm afraid so, Your Honor. The code was 7777777.
Oh my god, I counted that off. Flawless.
The same as the remaining ID card number on that list. Chief Gant, you entered the evidence room on the day of the crime.
Ooh.
It's a new sprite.
Look at that Angie sprite. Look at that eyebrow
mad.
twitch. He mad.
He's mad.
Oh, he's so mad. Order! Order! Chief Gant, what do you have to say?
Nothing. The defense search of my office was a violation of regulations.
You gave me the heebie-jeebies again. and I will demand Mr. Wright be punished to the maximum extent of the law. But right now, this court demands an explanation from you about the use of this ID card. Chief Gant, so you admit it. You entered the evidence room on the day of the crime?
What about it? I'm chief of police, whether it's the evidence room or the bathroom. What's the difference? I can go anywhere I want.
Tell me, when you entered the room, were you alone?
I always go to the bathroom alone, as I do the evidence room. Detective Goodman wouldn't have happened to be with you that day, would he? Of course not. Why would he be? I haven't seen him in days. You haven't seen him in days, Chief Gant. I'm afraid you just undone yourself. On that day, you had to have met with Detective Goodman.
What do you mean? This trial's purpose is to determine Lana Sky's guilt. No, it isn't, Your Honor. This trial's purpose is to determine the truth. If Chief Gant met the victim on the day of the crime, then we need to determine one thing. What transpired during that meeting? In that case, Mr. Wright, I'm going to have to ask you for evidence. Show us the proof that the victim went to meet Chief Gant on the day of the crime. That would be his lost item report, because it can only be submitted to the chief of police.
Yep.
Detective Goodman lost his ID card on the day of the crime.
Or to be more accurate, Jake Marshall stole it.
So Detective Goodman filled out a lost item report. He would have had to give that report to the chief of police. Yet you are in possession of the report. Which means you can't be sure he filled it out.
He filed it.
How do I know, you ask? Because he needed to enter the evidence room that day.
He needed to?
Yes. To transfer the evidence out.
Oh.
Detective Goodman took the form to you, Chief Gant. Then, you accompanied him to the evidence, you accompanied the detective to the evidence room. I accompanied him. There's no other way the murderer, and Detective Goodman could have entered the room. Hold on. Let me guess what you're going to say next. I, Chief of Police, murdered poor Goodman. Exactly.
But wait. The chief didn't necessarily need to accompany him to the evidence room. He could have just lent him his ID card.
Yes. Now that you mention it, I believe I might have done something of the sort.
Sorry, but that's not possible.
Hmm?
According to the record, your card was only used once. Yet you showed us your ID card earlier. If you had really lent it to Detective Goodman, it would have been found on his body.
No!
I love that lightning strike thing. It's so cool. Chief Gant, you didn't.
The murder was most likely a spur-of-the-moment crime. For no one in their right mind would have chosen the police department as a place to commit a murder. After the murder, you contacted Lana at the prosecutor's office. Why? To dispose of Detective Goodman's body, of course.
You're forgetting, Mr. Wright, that the victim's body was discovered in the prosecutor's office parking lot. And yes, chat, I agree, that sprite is so fucking metal. Zark, that angry injustice parakeet. How did he manage to move it there?
I was in the police department the entire day, you know.
And everyone's aware that Lana stayed at the prosecutor's office after the ceremony.
Everyone except me, it seems. Still, you're the chief of police. You had an entire police force at your disposal.
Oh, so you think I could just order an officer to do it? Hey, you! Take this here dead body over to the prosecutor's office. I don't think so.
Chief Gant, you left all the evidence we needed. To prove how you moved the body to the prosecutor's office. And all this time, I thought it was just a useless clue, just taking up space.
How could the chief have moved the body? Mr. Wright, show us this evidence.
To move the body, Chief Gant used this.
Fucking screwdriver.
Yeah. This is how you move Detective Goodman's body.
What's that? A screwdriver. But what does that have to do with this case?
Mr. Edgeworth, think back to the day of the crime. What is this screwdriver doing here?
It's here because... I was asked to go, by Chief Gant no less. He told me he wanted to keep it here in the prosecutor's office. In any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here. After the ceremony ended that day, I didn't plan to return to the prosecutor's office.
But you did. Because Chief Gant asked you to.
You mean I...
The body was found in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. I think it's obvious what happened. The body was moved by the car.
Detective Goodman's body was carried in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car?
Yes. Unless, of course, you have another explanation, Chief. Why else would you have asked Mr. Edgeworth to transport evidence from a close case? There's only one plausible explanation. To transport the body to your accomplice. To Miss Lana Skye.
Order! 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 What's going on here? Is there no room for rebuttal to the defense's outrageous accusations?
Think back to the photograph Miss Stark took outside the prosecutor's office. This was not a photo of a dead body being stuffed into the trunk to be taken away. It was the exact opposite.
It is a photo of the body being taken from the trunk. Chief Gant, please, say something.
Eve, your time is up.
My time's up?
Sorry, Righto, but I'm having lunch with the District Attorney General after this. We have to get going if we're going to make the early bird special.
But the cross-examination isn't finished yet.
Remember what I told you earlier. A police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal.
Like this AK.
You're
Sorry.
gonna pull a fucking gun.
Sorry, it just...
Lord have mercy. God, I know he's a bastard, but goddamn.
Oh, I didn't mean it in that way. I just meant in like this ridiculous way. Katie said that in almost Megan's voice, and I died. Sirs? I can't do the cute little hamster squeak.
Weapons?
like the right to refuse to testify. I'm invoking that right now.
What? That's not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. So you're going to just run away after all of this?
Run away? Don't make me laugh, Worthy. I stabbed old Goodman. That's what you're saying, right? But if you had any conclusive evidence, you would have presented it by now.
Well,
You think I had Lana dispose of the body? If so, then show your proof and get it over with.
I'll say it again, Mr. Wright. Damon Gant is the current chief of police. This court will not tolerate any accusations against him without concrete proof. Well, Mr. Wright?
Your Honor?
Do you have any concrete proof? Proof that Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman and made Miss Skye dispose of the body?
Do I have any concrete proof? I don't.
No.
It's no use showing evidence I'm not sure of myself. No, Your Honor. At present, I have no conclusive evidence.
See, Yudgy?
In that case, this court is forced to penalize you for your allegations against the chief.
What? Here's a tip. Never gamble what you can't afford to lose, righto. It seems that Lady Luck was on my side yet again today. Okay, Udgy. I'll leave the rest to you.
I warned you earlier, Mr. Wright. This is an affront to a senior officer at our nation's law enforcement agency. Lady Luck, Maybe we should have a word with her. Mr. Edgeworth, what do you mean? There's one lady who knows the real truth behind this trial. We haven't yet had the honor of hearing her testimony.
A lady who knows the truth. Another witness?
In the absence of conclusive evidence, the only other method of proof is testimony.
But Chief Gant has already invoked his right to refuse to testify.
There's still someone else, one more witness who can answer all the questions raised in this trial. Someone right in this very room. Mr. Edgeworth, who is this person? Why are you asking me, Your Honor? Have you forgotten? The defense is the one calling witnesses today. Mr. Wright, does such a witness exist?
She may not be willing to tell the truth. But we can't just stop now. Yes, Your Honor. The defense calls forth...
Lana Skye.
Yep.
The defendant? Ms. Lana Skye?
She was in the underground parking at 5:15 on February 21st. Her task to dispose of the victim's body. In accordance with a certain someone's orders.
Mr. Edgeworth? The prosecution has no objections, Your Honor. Very well. The court will now take its final recess for the day. In 15 minutes, we will reconvene to hear the defendant's testimony. This court is now in Hold on. Huh? Oh, that was you. I'm sorry. I thought it was somebody else who's gonna pop back up.
Yeah. Hold on.
Sorry. Chief Gant, I thought you were going to eat. Is your voice okay?
Frog in my throat.
Yes, I understand. That happened to me a lot a few months ago. I had a cold, you see.
I heard about that. Are you feeling better?
Oh, yes, much. Thank you.
Listen good, Lana.
He's talking to Lana.
I don't think you need me to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Wright's claims, there will be terrible consequences. That's right. Your sister will be found guilty for Neil Marshall's murder.
Yeah, this isn't good.
Of course, you never support an outrageous claim anyway, right? Just something to think about. Alright then. I've got a lunch date to meet.
Okay, if there aren't any further objections, this court is now in recess. Looks like we managed to stay in the game.
Yeah, thanks to your help, Edgeworth.
I love how it's like recess time and Miles goes out through the prosecutor's side and then just books it. Yeah. He's like full on sprinting over to the defense lobby just to talk to Nick for like 5 minutes. Oh, sorry. I'm pulling a blankie over my shoulders. That chief, he's something else, eh, pals?
Detective Gumshoe.
I'm not a detective anymore.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that.
Don't worry. I've already decided where to work now. At your office.
My office?
Sure. I'll take the place of that top-knot girl you used to work with.
Could he mean Maya? No one can take Maya's place.
Well, no, I don't mean, like, take a place, but, like, you know, as a stand-in. And then when she comes back, all three of us can work together. It'll be fun.
I would like that.
Yeah, it'd be fun, pal.
I'm sad now.
Aw, cheer up. She'll be back.
I miss her.
Yeah, but you gotta worry about this girl right over here.
I know.
Passed out on the couch.
I know.
Give Gumshoe pom-poms. Still, looks like we're all out of moves now. Chief Gant's done it again. How is it that he always gets the upper hand?
It's not fair that he has the right to refuse to testify.
Settle down, Wright. Remember what the judge said. But Chief, this is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered.
Risks? What do you mean by that?
It's simple. If the chief refuses to testify, the opposite also holds true. You mean he forfeits his right to say anything too? There we go. There she is.
Emma! Are you okay?
Yeah, when I came to, I was in the medical office. I've been listening to the trial from the gallery.
So she's heard everything that's been going on. Emma, I'm sorry for what I said before.
No, don't be. It was the truth. You know, it's funny. I feel somehow relieved.
Relieved?
Yeah. Now I finally know what really happened. To think that all this time, my sister was being blackmailed by that terrible man. And she did it all just to protect me. Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said she changed. Perhaps it was easier that way for her. What do you mean? What do you think I mean? To follow Chief Gant's orders. She must have shut herself up deep inside, to force herself to do anything and everything the chief told her to do. Yeah, I know. Chat is
Yeah.
screaming exactly what I'm thinking, which is you would know, Miles. You would know. You sure would fucking know. Chat is very upset, and so is my heart. But let's just bop to Emma's cheerful theme here.
That must have been why she became so cold.
It was all my fault. It's all because I murdered Mr. Marshall. Hey, don't go blaming yourself now. If you want to blame anyone, blame society, pal.
Yeah, fight the system.
Right, you're an attorney.
I know. I don't know what came over me there for a second.
I'm also laughing at chat because, yeah, it's pretty much like murder, yay! Chief Gant may be able to fool everyone else with his forgery. But he can't fool my memory. I remember now. I knocked Mr. Marshall into that armor.
I see.
Well, we better get back. It's time for the final act.
Emma, why don't you wait here?
No, I'm going with you.
Uh,
I want to be there when Lana tells the truth. Let's go, Wright. It's time to end this. I need to go back to the prosecutor's side. People will ask questions.
okay, bye, Miles.
I'll see
You
you.
work.
I'll see you in court shortly. Okay, so I'm gonna end this episode right here, and then we will talk in stream for a second. So, for those of you watching on YouTube, thank you guys so much for watching, and for those in stream, still, thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate it, and we will see you next time for the final stretch. This is the final stretch from Rise from the Ashes, and then I have to move on to another game before I can go under Ace Attorney 2.
You're so mad that I'm putting the kibosh. I'm just starting it.
I'm not mad, I'm just sad face. I know we'll get worn out. I know we will, especially with some of Game 2's one particular case of Game 2's.
I'm having a walkthrough open for that for every step of the way.
I pretty much am too.
Sorry, not sorry.
I pretty much am too. It's hell on earth. But yeah. So yeah, next is like legit. The next stretch is just legit the finale of Game 1, and then we have thoughts on this case in particular because it was an add-in, so kind of a DLC case before they actually made DLC cases. So, for those of you on YouTube, we will see you in the next part. This has been Danny.
And Katie.
And we want you guys to take it easy. Have a good one.